What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today's video, we are going to be talking about Excalibur number 15, which is chapter 21 in Ten of Swords, written by Tini Howard with art by Mahmoud Asrar and Stefano Caselli. And in this video, we are going to witness all-out war between the mutants of Krakoa and the mutants of Arakko. And in the midst of all that, we're going to see some allegiances tested and some others entirely broken. More importantly, we're going to witness the return of a long-lost core. That's right, we're going to talk about all that and more right now. But first, wash your damn hands! And let's hit that intro.
Word to wise, grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple eyes. You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Well, now that Arakko has, for all intents and purposes, technically lost the contest of swords, even though theoretically, since Annihilation healed Genesis, the fight is technically still on. They haven't yielded. They haven't actually been killed. So for all intents and purposes, the contest is not over, but this is actually one of those situations. This is actually one of those spots, like if you're a wrestling fan, this is one of those moments in a wrestling match where everything has just gone from sugar to shit real fast. It went from being a one-on-one with the Great One and devolved into this WWE Attitude Era event where it's like, oh my God, Stone Cold's coming for the back. Oh my God, Dudley Boys have just run in. Oh my God, what is happening? They got chairs and tables. Well, wait, who's that? Oh no, it's Mick Foley. Mick Foley slid into the ring. Oh my God, through hellfire and brimstone. It's Kane. Wait a minute, The Undertaker just rose out from the casket underneath the ring. What's going on? And the next thing you know, before it's all said and done, every single wrestler who is in the locker room is in the middle of the ring and they're all fighting each other and nobody knows why. Well, this is more or less that moment minus the nobody knowing why. Everyone knows what they're fighting for, and right now, Genesis, or rather Annihilation, has summoned her Amenthi horde to come bearing down on the mutants of Krakoa. The X-Men are trying their damnedest to hold the line against impossible odds. And Annihilation is still trying to kill Apocalypse, though granted Storm is able to actually hold Annihilation back, which I think is a huge testament. Once again, people keep saying, oh, they're not putting enough respect on Storm's name. Dude, she literally just shocked the living shit out of Annihilation, a powerful mutant by the name of Genesis wielding the helm of Annihilation and the Twilight Blade. This woman is literally probably one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe right now, and Storm literally just walked up with a regular ass lightning bolt and shocked the out of her. So yes, Storm is getting plenty of respect. Y'all need to calm down. The problem is that the X-Men have to fall back, and Storm knows she can't hold Annihilation back forever. The tide is turning right now, and it's turning in favor of Arakko, to the point that War is literally sitting there on the sidelines waiting to make her move and send themselves in with the rest of the Amenthi horde and take everybody out. But there's one issue. The White Sword, he just ain't interested. The White Sword and his 100 knights, he doesn't want to risk them. He thinks that this is all pretty much a wrap. He did what he came here to do. This is not the fight that he signed up for. He signed up for a contest, for a fight, himself versus another champion. And guess what? He fulfilled his duty. And even though Iska tries to downplay the White Sword's victory over Gorgon, claiming that a blind lunatic essentially destroyed a huge chunk of his army, White Sword puts respect on Gorgon's name, saying that he was actually, in fact, a worthy competitor. And that so too were his champions, and that regardless of the outcome of any of all this, both will be celebrated. And more importantly, he's done with this. He doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. He's done fighting for Amenth. He's ready to go back home to Arakko and continue his never-ending war. Not only has the White Sword abandoned Arakko's cause, but so too has Bay the Blood Moon. Bay the Blood Moon immediately darts off in the direction of the mutants of Krakoa, slicing through Amenthi demons as she makes her path. Apocalypse snatching her spear from her. And initially, Apocalypse is going to make an effort to try and kill Bay, but Cypher stays his hand because Bay did not come for a fight. Bay came to be with her husband Cypher. It's one of those things that they're really leaning into this marriage that, you know, initially just kind of came out of nowhere. It kind of seemed to be just contrived and just thrown together because Saturnine willed it to be so, just, you know, for shiggles. But no, Bay is completely 100% all in for this. Matter of fact, even to the point that when Apocalypse looks like he's even trying to approach her for an attack, she actually uses her mutant power on Apocalypse and even makes an effort to shield Douglas's ears to try and block out some of the sound, even though it doesn't seem like it's working. And she snatches up Cypher and she gets the hell out of Dodge because she didn't come to join Krakoa. She came to get her man and get the fuck out of Dodge. On the other hand of this, Cypher, he knows what Bay is trying to do. He knows that Bay is only trying to protect him. However, I think it's actually really cool that Cypher actually, even though they can't communicate with each other, even though they can't talk to one another because he can't understand her and she can understand him just fine, but he's still able to communicate with her in a way that he lets her know that they can't just leave all this behind, that those are his friends, and that even though she fought alongside Arakko, his side will accept her because Cypher accepts her. The X-Men now are surrounded on all sides to the point where Storm is telling everybody to hold fast and Apocalypse is telling them to never surrender. This is when Jubilee comes with the mega save and the cavalry behind her because you gotta remember, she's actually been hanging out with the Priestesses of the Green in the pages of Teenie Howard's Excalibur, and they have actually been helping her look after Shogo, at least up until the point where Jubilee brought Shogo to Saturnine and got him taken away from her. And Jubilee is coming in plasmoids blazing. And more's to the point, they're not there because Saturnine asked them to come there. They are only there because they protect the Citadel and they go where they want to go. And Jubilee said they needed to be there because the Citadel was under attack. So now with the Priestess of the Green in tow, as well as Cypher and Bay the Blood Moon having recently returned, they stand a little bit better chance than what they did before, but it's still not enough. Annihilation still has them outgunned, outnumbered. The Horsemen are all there now, not just the ones who were there to fight for Arakko, but so too have Pestilence and Famine arrived to add their firepower and support. You see, Annihilation has already plotted out what her next move is. She has already declared this a win, and she is already plotting what she's going to do next, the next land she's going to ravage, how she's going to turn not just the Starlight Citadel, but all the rest of Otherworld, Avalon, all of it, including Krakoa. She's going to destroy everything, and not only will she destroy everything, but she's going to perpetuate herself by birthing the next wave of powerful mutants. But she's not going to 100% get her way because, you see, ever since the beginning of this issue, Saturnine's been working on something. You remember back in Excalibur number 14, where Betsy Braddock was shattered into hundreds of thousands of pieces of glass while she was fighting Iska the Unbeaten in the Contest of Swords. Saturnine kept all of those pieces. She kept them locked away, and she has come to reclaim them. And now she's spreading them out, putting them together, and she's trying to recreate something almost as if it were a puzzle. Now, while this is happening, Shogo, he recognizes what's going on because even though he's a baby, he's clearly smart enough to figure out that that's Betsy Braddock. And he starts getting a little angry about it, and he acts as though he wants to use his flames on Saturnine, but Saturnine convinces him there's something far more useful to wield his flames against. Don't use it against the Starlight Citadel, the nexus of all reality, and literally destroy the multiverse surrounding them and basically damning them to some weird purgatory hellscape of whatever's left after Shogo warps reality with his flames. No, use it for something better. And what this ends up doing is she recreates the visage of Captain Britain, but in doing so and having, and I guess with Shogo's help, not realizing it, that magic, as she kind of warns us in the opening quote of this issue that magic is unpredictable and sometimes is a harsh teacher when you cast a spell unwittingly. What I'm gonna go on a limb and say is she was trying to cast some kind of a love spell and it backfired, because we're being told what the tenets of a love spell are by the end of the issue. Now, that said, it seems like maybe she was trying to cast some kind of spell on Brian Braddock using Betsy Braddock, which seems kind of like a weird thing to do, but it's not really made clear, because at the same time that we're seeing this whole thing about a love spell, we also see Saturnine make a very, offhand gesture about trying to make something as an addition to her room. But once she puts all the pieces together, we see Betsy Braddock again. She's sitting there toiling away, trying to forge a new weapon. And when Saturnine places the final piece, we see exactly what it is that she's made. She has recreated Captain Britain, and not just Captain Britain, but the Betsy Braddock version of it, not even realizing it, which makes sense considering what those shards were made of. It's almost as if she didn't know. But regardless of that, because of what Shogo has done using his Dragonfire, presumably, the Captain Britain core has been reborn. That was a really odd place for the book to end, but honestly, it's kind of probably the best place, because considering the next issue is the final issue that we're getting with Ten of Swords, Destruction #1. But yeah, it's a really odd place for it to end. And I'm not gonna lie, this book was probably the weirdest one for me to read, just because, just from this particular standpoint, the stuff with Opal Luna Saturnine, the fact that the Captain Britain core are being brought back, which is fine because, they've kind of been hinting the Captain Britain core being brought back, but just the way that Saturnine was going about trying to do whatever it is she was doing seemed really weird and didn't really make a whole heap of a lot of sense. But once again, it's Saturnine, maybe it's not supposed to. But that said, we now have the Captain Britain core back. The question is will the Captain Britain core fight for Saturnine, or will they be against her? The Captain Britain core, they do protect the Citadel, but we all know Saturnine's been on some shit lately, so who knows what's gonna happen there. More importantly, how are the Krakoans going to get themselves out of the pickle that they're in right now in regards to Annihilation, who has them surrounded on all fronts? I mean, yeah, sure, the Captain Britain core can help out there too, but are they really enough to hold back the tide of a Minth? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you thought about Excalibur #15 by Teenie Howard, Mahmoud Asrar, and Stefano Caselli. Wash your damn hands and sound off in the comments. So hey, you made it to the end of the video. Awesome for you. If you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, I don't see how you didn't, do me a favor. Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell so you know when I post up. Also, feel free to go check out my Patreon, where if you chuck in $1, you can get early access to most of my videos up to a week early. And if you have time, make sure you swing by nerd901.com, where you can find more of my content as well as other amazing stuff. Anyways, until next time, I love you 3000 plus ultra.